Did you know that over 3,000 public service promotions are being cleared, setting a record for upward mobility in the Bahamas? Today, we're diving into the groundbreaking labor and public service reforms that are reshaping our nation's workforce. This is Transforming the Workforce, a new era of labor and public service in the Bahamas. From empowering Bahamians with fair job opportunities to modernizing government systems, we'll explore how these bold changes build a stronger, more dynamic future for all. Keep watching. A brand new episode of You and Your Money starts now.
You and Your Money is brought to you by Aquapure, Focall, J.S. Johnson Insurance, and the Bahama Islands Cooperative Credit Union Limited.
Welcome to You and Your Money, everyone. Joining us today to talk about revolutionizing public service, labor agreements, and onboarding reforms is Minister of Labor and Public Service, Honorable Pia Glover-Rolle. Mr. Glover-Rolle, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, Mr. Glover-Rolle, let's get this conversation started by understanding what factors contributed to the successful negotiation of 51 labor agreements, and how does this achievement benefit Bahamian workers in both the public and private sectors?
Well, the simple answer to that is communication. 51 labor agreements is not an easy feat and was not an easy feat, but gratefully we have engaged a labor relations unit that is focused and tasked with ensuring that industrial agreements are not only negotiated, that our unions are brought to the table for those open lines of communication, but more importantly that we get those agreements signed and registered so that workers across our country in both the public and private sector can benefit from the myriad of opportunities that industrial agreements provide. Industrial agreements are the way that we engage benefits for both the public and private sector employees in our country. There are unions, there are associations come and negotiate better benefits, better compensation packages, and opportunities for upward mobility. Most importantly, in labor, we're taking a proactive approach. We're getting out there, we're knocking on the doors of our unions and saying, let's come to the table, let's negotiate, let's ensure that we're doing what is right for our workers. But more importantly, this proactive approach will help us to not come to this place again where we had a number of expired agreements, but ensuring that we are proactive in ensuring that before these agreements expire in the future, that we're already having open lines of communication and conversation.
Well, definitely congratulations to you and your team on a job well done and what it is that you're continuing to do. How does the PSPP program aim to modernize the government's onboarding process, and why was it necessary to implement such a program?
Well, we say it's all in a name. So the PSPEP program is actually a rebranded version of the 52-week program.
Okay.
We've all heard of the 52-week program. It's the mainstream onboarding process for public servants, bringing them in at entry level in most instances. And there are also opportunities for levels that of persons that have degrees or some type of certification. We rebranded the program to the Public Service Professional Engagement Program because that's who we are engaging, professionals who will become the public service professionals of the future. Our onboarding process included specific focus on training and orientation, not only ensuring that we're setting our employees up to win, but also ensuring that they understand the right career paths that they should take in the public service. Generally, our PSPEP employees come in as general service workers, but we want to direct them towards a path that will give them upward mobility in our public service. This program is also one of equity. We ensure that there's a balance of males and females. But most importantly, one aspect we're most proud of is inclusivity. We've ensured that the disabled community, persons living with disabilities, are also a part of the PSPEP program.
Now, with the PSPEP program currently on pause, what are the plans for its future, and when can we expect a new cohort to be brought in?
Well, the PSPEP program is currently on pause so that we can right-size the program and return it to its original model. We have persons that have been on the 52-week program in some instances for over a decade. That's not the original model of the program. The program is a 52-week process in which you're acclimated to the public service. You find your footing, you find your career path, you made temporary month to month, and then eventually moved into permanent and pensionable. It's not been happening. The program hasn't been managed in that way, and therefore we have so many persons that are a part of this program that are currently in limbo. We can't have that. It's a disservice to our employees. It does nothing for their morale, and it doesn't set them on a proper path to a successful career in the public service. So with our public service professional engagement program, we're currently in a mode of right-sizing, reclassifying and regularizing those employees that have been on the program historically. And as we move into the new calendar year, as we anticipate our regularization to be completed by the end of this calendar year, then we'll look at a new and right-sized model of the public service professional engagement program and hopefully a new cohort.
All right. Now, can you address the concerns about the number of recent promotions in the public service, and how are these promotions being managed to ensure that they are merit-based?
All promotions within the public service are merit-based and based on policy, based on recommendations, based on your ACRs, as they are called, as we may know them in private sector to be performance appraisals. So while many people were promoted in the public service, many people were also not promoted because you had to qualify. It was merit-based promotions. The issue is there have not been promotions in the public service for such a long period that it left us with a hollow middle. We have persons at the top that are attritioning up and attritioning out in some instances. And then we have our entry-level persons, like our PS/PEP employees. So in the middle, when we missed out opportunities to promote, we're not filling the gaps. And as a result, there's no ability to have succession planning. There's no ability for those at the top to train those in the middle, because those in the middle haven't been properly brought up in their levels of promotion. Well, we're fixing that actively. And now we're bringing persons and filling capacity and positions within the middle that's allowing us to now have an opportunity for proper succession planning at the top of our public service.
Now, I know you referenced the hollow middle. How do these promotions help to fill the hollow middle in the public service, and what impact does this have on the efficiency and the effectiveness of government operations?
Well, we now have persons facilitating positions that actually help with our organizational structure. In the past, we have persons at a lower level that are actually doing the work at a higher level, but they haven't been brought up into the position officially or substantively posted. As you can imagine, that affects employee morale. It definitely affects their pockets. And as a result, you find that level of efficiency and effectiveness has also been negatively affected. So with the hollow middle being filled, we are able to actively engage training. And training is most important to ensure quality customer service, to ensure the efficiency and effectiveness of a public service. And that efficiency also comes when we speak to our digitalization that is happening within the public service simultaneously with the movement of promotions and with us filling these gaps in the middle to ensure a strong and solid structure.
Well, I'm sure that, there are many persons that's viewing right now, and they're happy about this new wave or this new move or what it is that's happening with the public service and even the promotions. Minister Glover-Rolle, we have to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll look at empowering Bahamians, enhancing employability and fair job opportunities. This is You and Your Money. We'll be right back.
Want the advantages of a loan, but the power of saving?
You need BICU, the Bahama Islands Cooperative Credit Union.
A BICU loan allows you to accomplish your goals at an unbeatable interest rate.
Flexible terms and low monthly payments you can afford.
And the best part is you save as you repay.
Bahama Islands Cooperative Credit Union, your partner to financial freedom.
Come in today and let us start planning your financial future.
Not all water is created equal. Consider this. You've got many sources of drinking water at your disposal, and they seem like viable options. But are they? Now consider this, quenching your thirst with water that's perfectly pure. 𝗓𝗓𝗡𝗘𝗧 water has been tested and proven to be perfectly pure. If quality matters to you, reach for a bottle of 𝗓𝗓𝗡𝗘𝗧. Be sure, 𝗓𝗓𝗡𝗘𝗧.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
Welcome back to You and Your Money, everyone. In this segment, we'll continue our conversation with the Minister of Labor and Public Service, Honorable Pia Glover-Rolle, and we'll discuss empowering Bahamians, enhancing employability, and fair job opportunities. Now, Minister Glover-Rolle, how are the initiatives like the National Training Agency and National Apprenticeship Program addressing employability challenges in the Bahamas?
Training is key, and it always goes back to training. So the government of the Bahamas has ensured that there are training opportunities in multiplicity for our citizens. We have the National Training Agency that specifically addresses soft skills training issues. We have the National Training Agency that also addresses workforce readiness preparation. But most importantly, we've added a new component to the National Training Agency. When we talk about promotions and the hollow middle in the public service, we have to ensure that as we're moving people up, we're training them for leadership. So the National Training Agency has put on now a new cohort, a new module that is our leadership module that is being engaged across the public service by persons that have been promoted and are moving into positions of leadership or supervision. Then there's our National Apprenticeship Program that was recently legislated that we're so proud of. This apprenticeship program helps us when we address the socioeconomic issues of employees and students matriculating out of high school where they can't afford to spend 2 years. They can't afford to spend 4 years in full-time learning. They have to earn while they learn, and they have to ensure that they are maintaining their lifestyle, their ability to survive. So our National Apprenticeship Program speaks directly to this socioeconomic factor in that we allow persons to learn while they are on the job training. They are finding a career path. We have specifically carved out sectors of the labor market that is informed by data that we have received through our Department of Labor. Our pilot program will be in the maritime industry, and we're looking to expand outside of our pilot into construction, into ICT, of course, tourism, and any other labor-informed markets that we come through the Department of Labor and understand that there are gaps. But most importantly, we also want to encourage those persons who are technically and vocationally inclined to the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute, BTVI as we all know it. But most importantly, employability can be assessed and improved through training, and that is our focus.
And what steps are being taken to ensure Bahamian professionals have fair access to job opportunities and career advancement?
That is another factor that's very important for us, Bahamianization of our workforce. And that doesn't mean at the lowest levels, that means at the highest levels. Those positions that are currently being engaged by expatriates, however, there are Bahamians that are skilled and qualified, whether in country or outside of the jurisdiction, that are able to engage those roles. But it has to be actively monitored. While we have a notice of vacancy policy in the Department of Labor, we have no enforcement. And that is something that we're working critically on. We're introducing our Notice of Vacancy Enforcement Policy Unit, where there will be labor inspectors who actively go out and ensure that as notice of vacancies are applied for and understudies are identified, that we monitor and assess the training of those understudies so that they are actually able to assimilate into those roles that are currently being held by expatriates. And I want you to know that where we are already engaged our inspectors, and where we are already seeing areas that are held by expatriates or positions that are held by expatriates, and there are qualified Bahamians in our database, we're ensuring that we're doing what's necessary to ensure that those Bahamians are filling those roles, even to the point you may have heard of us looking at canceling work permits and ensuring that we have Bahamians filling those positions. It's very important for the sustainability of our workforce, and it's very important that we ensure that Bahamians are not only engaging lower level positions, but also the top positions that are available in organizations throughout our country.
Now, you mentioned, of course, the Notice of Vacancy policy. How does the Notice of Vacancy Policy Enforcement Unit promote a Bahamian-first approach to filling the vacancies?
Well, first and foremost, the Bahamas Department of Labor has something that's called a job skill bank. Okay. And we are looking at how we can rebrand our skills bank so that persons, citizens of the Bahamas, don't just see it as an opportunity or a portal that's used to find employment. It is what we call it, a skills bank. We want Bahamians across the country, across the world, to register their skills with our data bank so that we can be aptly informed and understand that we do have Bahamians skilled in a number of roles, but we also need to ensure that we can access those persons, whether they're in country or not, to align them with opportunities within our country. This is what our Job Skills Bank does. It's at jobseekers@bahamas.gov.bs. You can Google it. You can feel free to register on there, and that is what we use to inform our decisions in terms of employing Bahamians in roles that are applied through our Notice of Vacancy unit. Our inspectors are actively monitoring our understudies. They are assessing the training programs that are being implemented by organizations to ensure that as Bahamians are identified for roles, that they have the opportunity to actually attrition into those roles successfully as a result of training.
Now, what is being done to support the unemployable segment of the population and integrate them into the workforce?
Our Public Employment Services Unit at the Bahamas Department of Labor is actively ensuring that we engage persons who register on our site and come and say, you know, I'm able to get a job, but I can't keep a job, or I'm finding it hard to find a job. In those instances, we want to direct them to our National Training Agency, where there's workforce readiness training. We have opportunities, the government has provided a number of opportunities for employment, but we've also provided opportunities for training. We've extended beyond just employability in terms of qualifications, and the Royal Bahamas Police Force has implemented an expungement program, because there may be persons who are unable to access employment because of a police record or because of a past record that has now gone away in terms of time, but it's still sitting there and it's prohibiting them from engaging active employment. So in terms of employability, we are ensuring that there are mechanisms in place such as training, such as expungement programs, and such as our national apprenticeship program that is onboarding, to ensure that we're accessing skills for our workforce to ensure that they can engage in gainful and beneficial occupations.
Now, for those persons that's watching, I'm sure they probably want to know, is there a fee that's associated with the National Training Agency or even the apprenticeship program?
There's no fee. In fact, in particular with the National Apprenticeship Program, you're paid while you work and learn. And also with our National Training Agency, when they matriculate out of the cohort, the National Training Agency has gone above and beyond to ensure that there's a small stipend that's given to the graduates to get them started with uniforms or whatever it is they may need to actually begin successful employment.
Well, I guess you can't get it better than that. That's definitely an incentive to go ahead and see what other opportunities exist. Well, Minister Glover-Rolle, we have to take another break. And when we return, we'll discuss modernizing labor policies, comprehensive reforms, and their impact. This is You and Your Money. We'll be right back.
Not all water is created equal. Consider this. You've got many sources of drinking water at your disposal, and they seem like viable options. But are they? Now consider this, quenching your thirst with water that's perfectly pure. 𝗖𝗛𝗥𝗘𝗘𝗥 water has been tested and proven to be perfectly pure. If quality matters to you, reach for a bottle of 𝗖𝗛𝗥𝗘𝗘𝗥. Be sure, 𝗖𝗛𝗥𝗘𝗥𝗘𝗥.
Focall Holdings Limited is proud of its consistent growth and the financial success it continues to bring to many Bahamians who invest in the company. Focall is committed to ensuring optimal financial performance for its shareholders. Focall's leadership remains focused on superior customer service and operational excellence across all sectors. Focall, fueling growth for people.
Feeling uneasy about your financial future?
You need a partner that can help make things easier.
You need 𝗖𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗖𝗧𝗏, the Bahama Islands Cooperative Credit Union.
If it's savings accounts to pay bills, save 𝗖𝗚𝗥𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧 style, save for retirement, college, or Christmas, 𝗖𝗚𝗥𝗘𝗖𝗧 has a full range of saving options for you.
Looking to buy a lot or build your home? 𝗖𝗚𝗥𝗡𝗖𝗧 has that too.
Bahama Islands Cooperative Credit Union, your partner to financial freedom.
Come in today and let us start planning your financial future.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
J.S. Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
Join us for 𝗖𝗎𝗓 Business Outlook, October 17th at Grand Isle Resort. Find out what is driving positive change for the future of 𝗖𝗎𝗓. Keynote speaker MP for 𝗖𝗎𝗓 and Deputy Prime Minister 𝗖𝗛𝗥𝗡𝗥. Engage with panelists and presenters on better outcomes for the economy, business development, sustainable infrastructure, airports and airlift, technology, and more. Register today at tclevents.com.
Welcome back to You and Your Money. Minister of Labor and Public Service, Honorable Pia Glover-Rolle, is still here with us. In the previous segments, we spoke about revolutionizing public service, labor agreements and onboarding reforms, and empowering Bahamians, enhancing employability and fair job opportunities. In this segment, I want us to discuss modernizing labor policies, comprehensive reforms, and their impact. Now, Minister Glover-Rolle, what key changes are proposed in the recent labor reform white paper, and how will they impact workers' rights and employment standards?
So I'm very excited about the legislative reform that's coming to labor for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We had recently a legislative symposium where we delved into our labor laws in the country. And when I say we, I'm happy to say that that is our tripartite. It is government, it's our employer organizations and our employee organizations who came together in a working meeting to ensure that all of their recommendations for revisions, for amendments, and for new policies in terms of labor law in our country were hashed out. It's important to have the tripartite at the table because where one branch has an idea, it has to also coincide with the other because we have to be able to work cohesively to ensure solidarity in labor. Most importantly, coming out of this white paper, we looked for this white paper to inform Cabinet of policy and legislative reform of laws that are extremely antiquated. We're living in a world and we're working in a world that has evolved and continues to evolve. However, we're being managed by policies and laws that are well past our independence. We have 53-year-old laws that govern our current labor. So we have to ensure that as our world evolves, that our legislation involves that manages our labor force. That is critical. When we speak to digitalization, when we speak to climate change and the existential threat of climate change, and how do we manage labor in this new environment. When we speak about social justice, you hear a lot of conversation about livable wage. When we speak about strengthening the family, that's also managed by our labor laws. Maternity leave, paternity leave, and all that it speaks to in terms of how we manage labor and the family. So looking forward to our labor laws coming into the new world, into the 21st century, and evolving as our world and our labor force continues to evolve.
Now, why was it necessary to amend major labor laws like the Employment Act and the Public Service Act, and what improvements can workers and employers expect?
I'll give you one example. We have in the public service something called general orders. And there's a portion in general orders that speaks to getting messages to employees via telegram. Well, we're in a digital age. Most people don't even know what a telegram is. Right. But these are the policies that speak to the processes in our public service right now. So when you see a slowing down of process, it's probably because we're working from policy that is antiquated, but we have to ensure that we're adhering to policy. When we speak to the private sector, our Employment Act of 2001, our Industrial Relations Act was amended the last time in 2017, but it's an act from 1971. We talk about public service regulations that are 53 years old, managing our public and private sector. The laws are simply antiquated. We're signed on to international conventions through the ILO. We are the first country in our region to have a second generation decent work country program. I'm saying that because that means that we're not only advancing legislative reform for labor here in the Bahamas, it's a global focus. And as we sign on to these conventions, we agree that we're going to ensure that we're progressive along with the world. So we speak about a just transition. The ILO encourages us in a just transition, which means informing our labor force and our policies in a world where there is now focus on digitalization, social justice, and of course, the existential threat of climate change.
Well, this is definitely exciting news to hear of what it is that you're actually working on and how it is that you are looking to impact and produce or present change in the many different forms. Now, how will these comprehensive reforms contribute to national development and address the broader challenges such as digitalization, social justice, as well as the economic growth?
These changes will not only bring our labor force into the 21st century, but in regards to national development, improvements in the way we do business, improvements in the way that we handle our workforce, which is the backbone of our nation, speaks directly to our overall national development plan. There is no economic growth, there is no social justice without our labor force. So ensuring that we have the benefits, the conditions, the compensation that's necessary to ensure a vibrant and a progressive workforce is critical. And that directly speaks to our overall national development of wanting to improve conditions for citizens across the country.
Well, Minister Glover-Rolle, thank you for joining me on the show today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here.
Transformative change is on the horizon for the Bahamas' workforce and public service. Together, we can build a brighter future with fair opportunities for all. Stay informed and be a part of the change that drives our nation forward. Here are our dollars and cents snapshots from this week's show. Number 1, workforce transformation. Modernizing public service and empowering Bahamians are key to driving sustainable national development. Number 2, fair opportunities. New labor agreements and training programs ensure a level playing field for all job seekers. Number 3, policy impact. Comprehensive reforms are reshaping labor laws, paving the way for economic growth and social progress. That's it for today's show. Don't forget to follow You and Your Money on Facebook and tune in next week for a brand new episode. I'm Ria Christina. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
You and Your Money was brought to you by 𝗲𝗡𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧, Phone Call, J.S. Johnson Insurance, and the Bahama Islands Cooperative Credit Union Limited.